host with the most that do not brag or boast, coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Review from a Car. It's your host, your moderator. We're about to get it in. Okay, we're about to get it in like swimwear. Okay, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friend, family, as well as your follower. Okay, so I want to talk about the season finale of From season 4, episode 2, and it's entitled If a Tree Falls in the Forest. Now, I've been really paying attention to what everyone's talking about on social media. I went through the Discord message boards. I am subscribed to a lot of people who are in this From universe. Give their listening to their feedback, listening to how they felt about the episodes, episode 10 in particular. And not a lot of people are thrilled or happy about episode 10, how it ended. However, you know a lot of people, the consistency is, a lot of people left episode 10. It's not the fact that people wanting more, it's just the fact how they ended episode 10. So we're about to get into it, okay? And I'm gonna give you my thoughts and my opinion about episode 10, okay? So it goes as follows. If a tree falls in the forest, this episode, season 4 finale, episode 10. The main plot lines were Jade lied on the caravan trip. Jade and Tabitha ventured down the caverns of the bones. Jay admits he lied about the bones protecting the chamber, realizing a deep sacrifice or either a deep sacrifice or cycle breaking is required uh, underground as the sky turns red, turned from day and flipped into night. Tabitha also make a horrible discovery, one that is hidden in the skulls belonging to her own daughter. So let's just focus on that part of the plot line. I felt like that plot of the story, I felt like this was the only meat on the bones throughout this whole duration of this episode. Um, and I had a feeling Jay didn't tell Boyd everything he knew because of fear of, if he would have told Boyd, if Jay would have told Boyd everything, Boyd probably would have been hesitant and not done what he did. Which, when you think about it, on the previous episodes, and if you've been following my channel, I felt like Boyd was coming to this decision on his own, facing the harsh reality that if they go through this, not everyone is going to survive. You're going to have casualties along the way. And since Boyd has a military background, you would assume Boyd would be okay with that. So, uh, I, as well as others, thought that Boyd came to this conclusion himself, but actually, Jade sort of pushed him in this direction. So, Jade had to, you know, make it like it was going to work in order for Boyd to follow along. And you didn't get the sense of this materializing until Jade confessed to Tabitha in the caverns, uh, about the bones and about not being sacrificing himself to make sure Tabitha um takes her own be able to get the opportunity to take her family home. All right. So I thought that was a great sacrifice for Jay to decide among himself. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but we're gonna continue. All right. So I thought that was a hold on, let me turn the air on in the car so that way we can make sure the phone don't um go down on us. Okay. So I felt like that was a great sacrifice uh Jay did to make sure that, this plan was going to go through. Okay. Um and I also want to talk about Sophia sabotaging their rope ladder, leaving them stranded underground as the sky. Uh we knew that Sophia, uh and I always said this, what was the purpose of the man in yellow to shapeshift into Sophia? And during the majority of the episodes in this season, Sophia was really not, uh you know there was no point of having Sophia there for him to turn into Sophia. And we later found out that there's a mole in there in Fromville, so he could have just used that mole to imply certain things about other like the Matthew family. He could have gotten her to do that. uh uh her name is Clara Vaughn. I forgot her name, the heavyset girl. um he could have gotten her, Sophia, well, the man in yellow could have gotten her to do his bidding in the town. So I didn't understand the full purpose. Now, there are certain like when um Henry drinking the man in yellow's blood, Henry drinking the man in yellow blood, I think that would have been a thing. I don't think the big girl was unable to do, but at the same time, she made sure that Tabitha drank the man in yellow's blood as well. So I felt like during this whole duration, there was really no point of having Sophia, aka the man in yellow, around the town folks, because it wasn't like Sophia was changing the mind of Boyd, changing the mind of Kenny, Victor, or whatever, the Matthew family, or whatever. And theoretically, the man in yellow could have hid behind the shadows and had the mole do everything for, ultimately, even at the end. uh the man in yellow, aka Sophia, even had the mole help her get all the talismans. Okay, so what real purpose Sophia, what was, and I heard a lot of people in a lot of message boards echo these same sentiments. Like, it's almost to the effect that they're, not really using Sophia, you know, not really using Sophia well throughout all these episodes. And it's not like Sophia was a character everyone was following anyway. And the only reason why come people were following Sophia, because we all knew that Sophia is the man in yellow. So Sophia didn't have no real importance during this whole episode. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to think otherwise, but me as well as others feel the same way. You didn't serve no purpose, but hey, it is what it is. Okay. uh the death of Maria Miranda, the earthquake dislodges the talisman, the clinic, that protects the clinic. The monster Smiley enters, bypassing the ordinary rules, fatally attacking Maria. Christy, Ellis, and Randall arrive too late, and Maria dies in a heartbreaking scene with Christy, having her in her arms. This this, to me, is a tearjerker. It was very emotional. No, and also it did two things. It was that, as well as no one knew that Marie Miranda, I think I'm gonna say Miranda, um, was going to die, because she's been so heavily influenced in the storyline of From. Now, she wasn't there uh she was there day one on season one, but she wasn't heavily utilized in the From universe until her, Randall, and the Matthew daughter had, stuff going on with them. I think that was in season two. Okay. But that's the only time they really used her. And the fact that she goes with Christy, other than that, she wasn't, and that just goes to show, characters you feel safe, like, okay, they're not gonna do nothing with this character. Um, it just goes to show you don't know who's gonna die, you know. But that was and she really died to protect Tabitha. And then later on, we find out Tabitha didn't really need no protection. No, Phantoma. She died for Phantoma. And come to find out, Phantoma really don't need no protection. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that could be a tearjerker to people that are huge supporters of Maria Miranda. Uh to me, she was a serviceable character in the From universe, but I didn't really have a dog in the race on whether or not she continues in the storyline. To me, it's not like she wasn't important, but to me, they didn't really have her in a lot of storylines. So, or other than season two, so I didn't really have no interest in her. I hate for her to go, but it is what it is. But then we also found out that Phantoma uh, and the Smiley are related. Phantoma is the mother, and Smiley is her offspring. And I feel like a lot of people are going to miss this scene in this part of this episode. They're going to take it the wrong way. Uh, you know, Even though we know Phantoma birthed Smiley, and even though we know Phantoma can see what Smiley is doing, and have somewhat of some kind of control towards Smiley, we later find out that Smiley says interesting as he turns back to his normal form and walks off. A lot of people are not gonna realize that Smiley just found out that Phantoma uh you know can see what he sees and has some type of influence in him. So he comes to the realization to that as he walks away. So a lot of people are not going to pay attention to that part, and that's fine, okay? But I feel like their connection, their bond, they're going to explain it more in season 5, okay? uh Phantoma monstrous transformation, Phantoma disturbing pregnancy storyline reaches a dark climax as she completely transformed into a monster. Smiley addressed her as her mother, and in the final moments, Phantoma begged the others to remember who I was. Okay. Um, a lot of people are pulling that "remember who I was" statement that Phantoma made in this season. They say that, well, that's a phrase that been echoing throughout the whole entire From series. I knew that, but it didn't, it wasn't like a real important or heavy bar to me. Uh Phantoma is a very serious character in the From universe. I did not expect Phantoma, and she didn't technically die, but she turned into a monster. So therefore, she's a monster, and she's been dead. If you've been listening to previous episodes, Chrissy's talking about her heartbeat is low, and her, like she's not even supposed to be walking around among us. Okay, so she has already done made it past that gateway of she is not human no more. And she didn't come to the realization that she too was a monster. Okay. Uh Phantoma and her boyfriend, that was heartbreaking, to them because of their relationship. And we will have to wait and see how this affects him in season 5. and seeing Phantoma role reverse. Now she's not part of the living no more. She's part of the creature. So now she is going to be walking around at night hunting them for, and we'll just see if she, has some type of control where she doesn't harm them or eat them. We'll have to wait and see how that. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have storylines parallel, that in season 5. But yeah, that I can understand. I No one expected that to happen. Okay. Um Elijah fatal bargaining. Okay. Elijah rejects Sophia's sinister offer to help her in exchange for a ticket home, ultimately resulting in his death. Now, if you've been following me last Sunday, and we got that towards the end of episode 9, I told you one or two things are going to happen. Either he accepts Sophia, whatever, because I knew Sophia was going to bargain with him. Either he accept Sophia to stay alive, or Sophia was going to kill the mule, Claire. I forgot, it starts with a C. Claire, Sierra, Cleo, whatever her name is. Um, she either she was going to kill her, and Elijah takes her place, or he doesn't accept, and he dies right then and there. And I felt like, a lot of people, Elijah, a lot of people are going to, when they talk about this storyline, I felt like this was a significant part of the story, not a huge part of the story, but for him to say, "Look, you're not gonna play games with me no more," and took a stand and say, "Hey, look, whatever you promised me, I know you're not gonna be able to give it to me. So I'd rather just die right here and right now than to betray my friends for a second time." Okay. And that's human nature. You know what I'm saying? That's no different than anybody else that's been fooled by the town or fooled by the man in yellow. Okay. By agreeing to their offer, by agreeing with them and to doing some hinister and some hinister stuff to the town folks or their friends. For Elijah to do that a second time around, it'll be unforgiving. Okay. You see how it affected Sarah, and Sarah has never gotten over the hump ever since season 1. Okay. I think now the town is kind of trusting Sarah. Okay, but to an extent. But if Elijah would have said yes to the man in yellow, aka Sophia, then and they find out, there is curtains for him. There's no going back. No one's never going to trust him. And I felt like Elijah knew that. That's why Elijah said, "No, I'm not doing this." He said his prayers because he knew he was going to die right then and there. So he accepted the true reality of himself, that the only way he's going to leave is either, you know, these bones, or he's going to die. So he chose death. Now, are we going to see Elijah in season 5? That's a possibility. Do anyone even know that Elijah's dead? That's another possibility. All right. So Elijah will probably be in flashbacks, but people won't be on the realization that he's dead. Maybe they don't never recover his body. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Okay. Uh Victor and Henry confrontation. Driven by this dark hallucination and armed with a revolver, Henry pushes to his breaking point to try to kill Victor. Uh, because once again, the town is playing tricks with Victor, believing that, hey, look, because Victor is believing all these flashbacks and these dreams and hallucinations that he's having, that this is not a real. And in the real world, Victor is a grandfather. I mean, Henry is a grandfather. Victor, his son. has a son of his own, and he wants that reality. Okay, that's what Henry wants. Okay, so um, Henry, and we all knew this was going to happen. Henry was basically uh going to be fooled, just like Boyd's wife was fooled in season one when she shot up half the town, believing that it was all a dream because she probably made because the town was playing tricks with Boyd's wife. Well, the town is playing tricks with Henry, and Henry almost killed his own flesh and blood, and was about to do it if the Matthews son uh didn't interrupt, and Henry momentarily took his eyes off of Victor. Victor was able to grab the gun from him, knock the gun out his hand. The gun is just falls to the floor, and that gun could have shot the Matthew kid. There's a possibility that gun could have shot the Matthews kid, but it only had two bullets, so the odds would have been very low. But still, could have accidentally shot the kid. Okay, so what I think about that scene is Henry and Victor's relationship is probably going to be a rough patch. It's and For their relationship. Also, Victor, it also shows in that scene. I think a lot of people are not paying attention to the character development, but Victor's starting to grow up. Victor's no longer that innocent. He doesn't have the mentality of a 6, 7 year old. Okay. Victor's starting to grow up. Now Victor is starting to make decisions like adult, say what's on his chest like an adult, be a protector like an adult. So I'm not saying in season 5 Victor's going to be this full grown adult. He's no longer going to be childlike. He's no longer going to stop thinking like a child. But I do believe Victor is going to be a lot grown up in season 5 than he was in any other season and from. So we have to wait and see how that turns out. So I think a lot of people missed that point. The final scene and episode 5 setup. The episode concludes with a chilling encounter between Sophia, the man in yellow, and the boy in white. And uh this is shows a sign between good versus evil. Good versus evil. The devil and the God, they're communicating towards one another. With Sophia stealing all the talismans from the Fromville residents. Um, Now the residents have no protection when the creatures come out at night. Okay, and I'm just gonna end it right there. So, um, to me, why nobody don't know that all the talismans are gone out of their house is beyond me, or just even their own place where they stay. Because you would think, something that significant, that serious, you want to know that piece of artifact is still posted on your wall. Okay. Like, you know, I, that's hard to explain to me, but maybe, they've been hanging on their wall for so long, they're like, they do what humans do. When you have something that important and it hangs on your wall, little by little, you forget about that. You just expect it's always going to be there. Like a law degree or a piece of art or whatever the case may be, you come to the realization it's always going to be there. So therefore, I don't need to have to check on it. I can assume if the writers are leaning that way, that the characters are probably saying, well, it's always there. Why do I constantly have to check it each and every day? Okay. And it's so noticeable. It's not like it's in a bunch of clothes or you have to really look for it. I mean, it's the first thing you see when you shut your door. So maybe they don't notice it until or care about it until it starts getting dark and you start shutting your door preparing for the night, and then you notice, oh shit, we don't have no talisman now. Also, I know for a fact Sophia and Claire, whatever, I think the big girl's name's Claire, or Claire, Claro, or Cleo, or we'll call her Cleo. Okay, Sophia and Cleo are collecting all the talismans in the town. So I do believe that there's one location they have not gotten a talisman from, and that's that abandoned truck that Victor stayed inside of, uh trying to hide from the creatures. I do believe there's a talisman already there. There's also a talisman on the cave floor. I don't think anybody's going to reach or going to go back to the caves to get that talisman. Okay. Maybe they'll talk about it in season 5 and the hiding spots. Um I don't believe Sophia has been in the town long enough to know that they have underground hiding spots where they can theoretically hide for one night until they find until they figure out, hey, look, the only talismans we have are in that truck where Victor, as kid, when he was a kid, and the talisman that's in on the cave floor. I feel like between the two, the cave floor is going to be a dangerous journey to. You want to go back to the cave just to get a talisman that we're not even sure it's going to be there. So, uh, yeah, you got that factor. Okay, so with season 5, one of the storylines is going to be the talisman. I feel like a lot of people are going to die in season 1 when it starts to turn night and people notice that they don't have talismans and the monsters are coming in. Phantoma will be a full-blown monster. So that's another layer that, oh man, she's going to have her first feast and may have the and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but may have an opportunity where to the point where she's going to have the opportunity to feast on her boyfriend. I don't think she's going to or be able to, but we have to wait and see how that turns out. Hold up. Okay, we're good. We're good like good food. Okay, I just want to make sure we're still live. Okay, so you got that. So um a lot of storylines, and then obviously the boy in white, that storyline is going to present, that's going to be a storyline for season 5. Sophia, will anyone find out Sophia and the man in yellow? Because the only one that connects Sophia and the man in yellow to together is Cleo. Now, I do feel like Cleo's gonna have a coming to Jesus moment in season 5. She's gonna feel so guilty that she didn't stand up for Elijah. Well, she couldn't really stand up to Elijah because the man in yellow is more powerful. It could have killed her as well. But she's gonna be feeling guilty on that first night, and they wake up the next morning, they see all these dead bodies, and then she's going to start feeling real guilty about it, and she's going to tell somebody that, a, she's a mole, and she's a mole for the man in yellow, and b, she's going to tell everybody who the man in yellow is. I do feel like that day is coming, uh and that's going to be on season 5 of, because season 5 is the last season of From. So I know that storyline is going to come to an end. Now, where everyone's going to come to the realization, it has to be earlier in season 5, so you'll be able to stretch it through the rest of season 5, because there's only going to be 10 episodes. Hopefully there'll be 10 episodes in season 5. So you got that. You got the Phantoma. I feel like her boyfriend and Phantoma, they're gonna have a moment. They're gonna have a sort of a storyline, and I do believe that they finally found a way how to leave Fromville. Now, is everybody gonna leave? I do not believe so, but I do feel like people are going to be able to leave, and I also feel like there are going to be people that's gonna are going to die trying to leave. They're going to be people that are just surviving and they don't have the talismans. They're going to die. And I do feel like there's a possibility that someone's going to be stranded in the From universe. Who's going to make that sacrifice? Boyd will make that sacrifice. Uh, and the Matthews son, is he going to be stuck in the From universe? I think this is going to be a real positive moment from Fromville, the residents at Fromville, that the majority of them are probably going to be up and out of there. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. I do feel like the way how you're looking at these storylines and the main story of From, there's a there's an end at the road. um is everybody gonna be able to make it out? I don't think everyone's gonna be able to make it out, but I do feel like people are going to make it out. Okay, I do feel like people are going to die trying to make it out. I feel like Jade, there's a possibility of Jade not making it through next season. There's a possibility that if Cleo makes it through episode 3 or 4, then somebody's going to know. Cleo is going to spill the beans about the man in yellow, aka Sophia. She ain't gonna have no choice, okay? Because that guilt, the longer she stays, the more guilty she becomes. Okay, that guilt just weigh heavy on you. So you're going to have to, tell somebody like, yo, I've been a mole since day one to you guys, and the man in, and all that stuff. So, um, there's a lot of storylines in From season 5. I can't wait for them to talk about. Okay. Now, as far as my channel go, we will talk about different theories about From, but I decided instead of waiting on Sundays, we'll probably do it earlier in the week. Yeah, I probably will shoot for Monday to do a live stream, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Okay, so there are a whole lot of theories that I see on message boards and videos, and I like to go through those theories of other people's theories, and then the future of From. This is going to be the last season. Now, a lot of people are talking about how this is, it may be over in this situation of From, but it's not over with, because a lot of people feel like they're going to have another show that's going to be in the From universe, where there's new people coming to this town, or they do it on a remote town that has these same circumstances like the town that they're in now, or it's a city or something like that. A lot of people are drawing conclusions that how successful From is, MGM Plus, as well as the producer and director, had so much success, and this is a hit show. They don't want this to die. And when you talk about Hollywood, Hollywood is a copy and paste league. So if you don't make a sequel to this, or if you don't make something that's from the From universe out of this, someone else will. They'll just call it something else. Okay. So and it's a lot of money on the table. MGM Plus, this is the only big show on MGM Plus. This is the only reason why people are subscribed to their app in the first place. Now I know the Harlem I forgot the Harlem show that's on MGM Plus. I haven't watched a single episode of it. I have seen different snippets. Godfather of Harlem. I've heard a lot of positive things about it. Unfortunately, I don't think that's my show. I don't think, I've been there and done that with several other shows that are similar to that. They got this new show while From is on break. Um, it's like an Irish mafia series, but I think it's only like a 2-part series thing. We'll see how that plays out. And they, MGM Plus do have diamonds in the rough, but are people going to continue to subscribe? I think the majority of the subscribers, I know for a fact the majority of subscribers of MGM Plus, they like this From show. That's the only reason why they are subscribed to this show. So of course they're going to make a prequel to From. It'll have different actors, it'll have different writers. It's from a different, it'll be a different part of the world, a different town, or a different city. But this is a hugely successful, popular show that you just can't just die off in 5 episodes. Now, the creators, the writers, they're all saying that this is the fifth and final season of From. And who knows if MGM offer them a bag and say make season 6, make season 7, you know, it's hard to turn away money. It's hard to turn away money, but it's even harder to produce a great quality show as From is. So we'll have to wait and see how that works. Okay. Also, I have a comedy channel. I have done a bunch of From spin-off shows. When this live stream is complete, I will put links to my other YouTube channel. You guys can go subscribe to it or just watch the the parody comedy spoofs I have. I just thought I'm a big From supporter and I love From, and just go check it out at your leisure. Okay. But yeah, before I end this, I will continue to do live streams, not on Sundays. I will do them um earlier in the week. Sometime we're gonna shoot for Monday. If Monday's not working next week, we'll shoot for, and we'll talk about next time we meet again, my friends. And next time we're on live, we're gonna be talking about the theories that I have collected about what people are expecting from season 5. So yo, I'm about here. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you guys. I really appreciate everyone that have watched every single live stream. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And I really appreciate all the likes, because if you guys didn't give me likes and subscribe and watch it, then who knows where this would have went. Okay. And I'm gonna keep doing this as long. I don't care if there's one person watching or 1,000 people watching. I'm gonna continue to give you From content, but I'm also gonna be doing reviews of movies and shows along the way. Go check out my other live streams of Spider Noir, and other movies I have reviewed thus far. So guys, thanks so much. Oh, I'm gonna do a review on Supergirl. I'm gonna do a review on Supergirl. Um, and that'll be very, very soon. All right. So, guys, I appreciate that. I'll see you guys later. Peace.